Hey guys, I'm back with another tutorial, and this is gonna be after patch 3.0, which brought in KO, and brought in also a Jett nerf, and this is what a Cypher mean with over 100 hours on Cypher thinks. So basically, I'm gonna go over just tips and tricks many people just don't know, and then we're gonna talk about how to play Cypher after the Jett nerf and KO being introduced. So basically, the first trick, it's really easy, but it's really good to know, because it can make your camera place higher, which can like lead to like cameras that you've never thought were possible that are really weird. And yeah, okay, so basically, camera, it's very like when you're trying to like not jump, the highest you can place your camera is right there. It's really easy to see because when you're pushing short, like with decent crosshair placement, and you're like looking down on your cam, they can see your cam. But make sure to put it at the highest point possible without jumping, and then jump, and then you can get that extra layer of height, which makes it so even if they're like aiming right here and your camera's facing down, they can't see it unless they're like aiming high. But like only reason they'd be aiming high is if they know your camera's somewhere there. The next trick is when what happens is when you plant bomb, a good trick is aim towards here when planting green box. Aim towards wherever you want the bomb to lean to. So in green box, you want to aim it more here so that
I have planted the spike.
So that when you're in long, they can't defuse it from far, because the max you can defuse it is from right here, and you can still spam that very easily. Well, if you were aiming this way, you could defuse it from there. A very useful trick is sometimes, not always, put camera on bomb. Good ways to use your camera is on bomb and for holding an angle. Like say there's a Phoenix that has this flash out right here. You can call hey yo, flash off my camera, and you can, I gotta run from bomb, but off of bomb tap, just put your camera there, don't even touch it. Off bomb tap, go on it, and then just shoot. Because it gives you info if they're on bomb,
kill them again,
and if they aren't, you can just chill and tell your team they're not on bomb. But if they are on bomb, it's very useful for telling them. If they are on bomb, it pings them, so then they know your team knows where to spam. And usually they get off bombs. So yeah. Next thing I'm gonna talk about is flank trips. So let's say you wanted to do like an A hit. You just do your standard thing, flash out, or not. Go here, boom, boom, boom. But then suddenly, 2 of your teammates are picked off. But then you pick off 2 of the enemy team. It's the 3v3. Since it's a huge map, you want to try to rotate C, because there's probably going to be one anchoring A. So then it's a 3v2, and if you trade, you should be able to win that gunfight. So let's say you go A and you put your trip right here, but then you're rotating away. This trip is basically useless, so basically you can just jump over right here. And if you want to lurk somewhere like mid or something, you can easily get flanked. So like, this is a great trip for going A, but if you're rotating out, you want to reposition it here, or maybe like, or here if you're going through C. Yeah, also make sure your trips aren't too low or high. A good trick I use is you grab your tripwire and crouch, and then aim it like where the blue light is coming at you. That's the best point where you can't crouch. You can't crouch under this, barely, but then you can't jump over it either. So yeah, make sure to reposition your tripwires and make sure they're at right height. Next tip is putting your tripwires in like off angles. So basically, these tripwires, like this one, when you're going in here, you can like see them pretty obvious and very easy to shoot them, and it won't be that effective. On this map, there's not many of these, but yeah. So basically, you want to try to put your tripwires in off angles. from this angle. Although they can clear
Here.
their left side, they can't
Here.
see right side unless they come up here. So it eliminates one entire angle that the tripwire can be broken from. And it makes it harder for them to shoot, or see. Okay, say you did a setup like this. Let's just throw in some one-ways. I'll teach you how to go back here. Aim at this point, boom, boom. Come up here, and just throw it at the ledge. Boom.
Cage trigger.
Take a few tries. So basically, say you've done the setup
Cage
and
triggered.
stalled a lot of time, or you got a few picks with it, allowing for the retake to be easier. Basically, be unpredictable and don't do the same setups, because they're gonna know how to counter it. If you just keep on doing this one way, they're gonna be like, oh, so to counter this one way, we're gonna, like, let's say we're gonna bait out the util, we're gonna bait out the one way, and then we can take sight or rotate away. We can fake a push so that Cypher pops his one way and stays on site, which allows for one rotate to be stopped for hitting A. So basically, be unpredictable with your setup. Don't keep on doing the same setup over and over again, because it's not gonna work. And yeah. So okay, this leads me on to my next point, which is about one-ways. So basically, let's just throw one way. So basically, let's just say you do this one way. One-ways are amazing.
Cage triggered.
They're always good for one round. You can see their feet, they can't see you. That's pretty cool. But the problem is, just make sure one-ways aren't the best. They're like sometimes good, but they're not the best. That's why you rarely see one-ways in pro play. Like at least the common one-ways.
Cage triggered.
Because the problem with this one-way is so like they can't see you.
Cage
right?
triggered.
But the problem is, let's say you get a kill, but like they're not gonna just let you get a kill for free. Like they're gonna swing out sight and then either trade you, because you have to stick to a spray, and sticking to a spray is very risky.
Cage triggered.
Like you have to stick to a spray, and number one, you might lose bullets. Number two, very hard to kill someone who's wide swinging.
Cage
like
triggered.
This. Number three, yeah, like I said, they're gonna trade you instantly, so they're not that good. And also, they're gonna know where you are. If you keep on using the same one way, they're gonna know where you are. So let's say that this one way worked one round, because it's very well possible. What's gonna happen in the next round is they're either gonna util, or they're gonna pre-fire you, or they're gonna just trade each other. So something like you want to be unpredictable. Like a good way to be unpredictable is like, say you pop this one way and like you don't play with it, but they assume you're playing with it. So a good thing to do is, since they might try to like wide swing you, use util, or trade each other, you could just have like, let's just say a Sky here with her bird out, gets ready to pop flashes, and then all 5 people long are flashed. Very unpredictable. Another cool thing is you could put your one way up here, but then when you pop the one way, you don't even play with it and you just sit here. Very unpredictable. Just make Cypher's best when you're unpredictable. If you're very predictable, shoot the same wires every round, they're gonna start realizing that and start shooting it, or just using util to clear it out. My next point is why setups might not be the best choice. Basically, I think setups are amazing and great, but I wouldn't recommend them sometimes, because the problem with setups is that you're burning a lot of stuff just to do a setup. So let's just say that we set up C. Like setups are great for delaying pushes and all, but just just be careful, because setups, you waste 400 400 money, plus sometimes a cage, so that's 500 plus a cam. Although you can grab your cam back, sometimes you don't have time. If they're hitting fast A, like sometimes you'll be able to, but sometimes you'll like just zone out and not be able to grab it. So you have to retake with one cage. That's what makes Cypher so hard. You have to retake. Retaking is very hard. It's very based on how you play it with your aim and your one cage. You want to try to use the one cage as efficiently as possible. And a great way is to smoke bomb, cut off an angle with it, or even just be like, if you're retaking C, like a good smoke would just throw it over here, because this you can either like come up logs, you can hold the default, they won't expect you here, or what you could do,
cage triggered.
You could just walk out of it, very unpredictable. Another thing you could really do,
cage triggered.
Come up on this box. You could see everyone through half vision, because the cage isn't covering all of it. Yeah. Just be careful when you're using setups. They're very expensive. Although that's the entire purpose of Cypher. So on Haven, it can be very annoying if they just keep on dodging your sight. Like, let's just say you're being unlucky, you're changing sights, being unpredictable, changing setups, and they just, like, don't go to your site. Sometimes that happens, very frustrating for Cypher players, but, yeah, maybe setups aren't the best idea, but, yeah. Leading into my next point is basically the setups. There are 3 types of setups. There is the info setup. Good info setup would be like boom boom, and then like a cage here, and then like a cage here.
Cage triggered. Cage triggered.
Yeah. The great thing about these are that it gives info. This is actually better in like 5-stack scrims, like not
cage triggered.
Like not pugs, like real matches. Because it gives your team info, and in 5 stacks, an enemy team isn't gonna give you info. So in ranked, basically everyone just runs it down, and you don't even need to use util to know where they are. You can literally just hear them and be like, oh, so they're pushing A, without using anything. So basically the second type of setup is the stall setup, or the setup that gets you a lot of kills. So basically this is a really good stall setup. They'll
watching this spot
here, so they don't know where you are, and also stops the peek
here,
so you can't just get traded like this. Tripwires in case anyone tries to go default. This trip is very troll tripwire, but if they try to like push to this side, like say you kill this guy, but then he tries to trade his teammate, they get caught, another free kill. Basically, this setup is very good for stalling the pushes and getting kills, for the retake to be a lot easier, because a 3v1 retake is a lot easier than a 3v3 retake that you might have had to go through because of a info setup. So this setup, problem with it, if they have literally Sova shocked that, boom, 400 creds gone. Plus you have nothing to stop. Basically, the setup is useless if they break the trips. Also, this setup doesn't give you info in case you're playing against like a 5-stack or something. So this is gonna help stall and give rotates, but it won't give you any info whatsoever. Basically, this is the last type of setup, instant retake setup. So this setup excels at giving you info on where they are, which makes the retake really simple. Makes retake really easy. Sometimes you could get a pick, like here. This is very good for knowing if there's someone gonna be green box, and if there is, you can shoot through the tripwire for a free kill for the retake. Also, these two cages allow you to like clear majority of sight, and also like get on top of here, getting unpredictable angles. In the smoke, you can pop flash through. Basically excels at making retake easy, but what it does not excel at is makes it so that like the enemies just have a free sight. Makes it so they can get sight for absolutely free without contention. And that's, yeah, that's not very good. So those are 3 types of setups, and yeah, just keep that in mind. So let's get on to the patch notes. How Jett cannot break tripwires. So basically, one of the worst tripwires you could ever do, like for like stalling pushes, was this one. It was literally useless. A free ability can just take away 200 creds, like free like that. They just dash through, boom, clears all of this. Very insanely dumb. Makes it so if Jett tries to dash, she gets pulled back like a slingshot. This is amazing. Now, this is great because not many people are gonna look that low and shoot it, although this is not very good of a tripwire. There's some good ones on Haven, A-Site. So basically, this trip, very easy to shoot. A long time ago, but now, like, people don't bother to look down a long time ago because you could just dash through. Now they have to be wary of trips and all that kind of stuff. And just, you can put trips at the entrances of sites because they can't break it as easily without a raise. And if they do have a raise, just aim the tripwire a little higher, like that. And yeah. And basically KO is like the ultimate Sentinels counter. Sentinels as in like Valorant agents. Basically, if you're playing on site, KO knives, your entire setup becomes deactivated, and you're basically useless. So to counter a KO, you want to try to be very unpredictable and play different areas. So basically, if you were playing short, like, let's say you're hiding here with the setup like this, very basic. Maybe a tripwire right here. Just very basic setup. If KO, like, if you got a kill from that, his teammate's gonna be like, yo, clear that with your knife or whatever, and then he knifes right here. You can take advantage of that and play somewhere far away. Since his knife range is insanely OP and goes through walls, you want to try to play far away, and this might encourage more retake setups and info setups over stall pushes, because stall pushes meant you had to play on the site with your smokes, but now it's going to encourage more info setups, but the info setups you're going to have to play afar from them, and this will allow for more retake setups, so retake setups are going to be a lot better. And yeah, that's it for the Cypher guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and like and subscribe.